The community of Scenery Park is today set to bid farewell to the 21 teenagers who died at Enyobeni Tavern in East London. That incident sparking outrage over the role of police, the community and civil society organizations in protecting and guiding the youth. So what lessons can we take from this tragedy? Let's bring in the Eastern Cape chairperson of the South African National Civic Organization. That's Dr. Mike Basopu, who joins us via our video link this morning. Dr. Basopu, great to talk to you on what is an incredibly heartbreaking story, and it's going to be a difficult day this morning for the community there in Scenery Park.
Can you come again with the question, Michelle?
A difficult day for the community there in Scenery Park, Dr. Basopu. How are you, let's perhaps start here. You know, President Cyril Ramaphosa in his weekly newsletter has talked about the dangers of underage drinking, the threat of underage drinking here in our country. What else are you hoping to hear from the President when he delivers the keynote address or the eulogy there today?
Thank you very much, Michelle, and your viewers as well. And thank you for the opportunity. Definitely, our expectation as Sanco is that the President will come up with a mechanism how best this can be, controlled going forward in future, because now these people have died already. There's nothing we can do, as much as we sympathize with them, but how do we ensure that we avoid this in future as a country? Because our view is that this problem is not only here in Scenery Park, it's throughout the country.
So you're saying, so that these young people don't die in vain, what are some of the alarm bells that have arisen from this devastating incident, and how can we move forward?
The challenge here, if I may start, is around the issuing of licensing, because when you look at these shippings or taverns, they are operating with their licensing that is being issued by the liquor boards. But in this case of Enyobeni, already as we speak, the license has been terminated, which tells you that indeed this license didn't meet the requirements of the shipping. But again, why was it issued in the first place? That's the first question. It tells you they didn't comply with the requirements. For instance, in this case, again, in terms of the information that is in the public domain, the ages of those kids that have been died in that tragedy are between 14 and 17. In terms of the Liquor Act, the people who are allowed to be sold liquor are above the 18 years. Why these kids were there, it tells you the monitoring mechanism in terms of the law enforcement, because they are the ones who are supposed to ensure that these requirements are complied with. But it tells you there is no monitoring mechanism, which is a problem. But of course, we can't blame them alone. Even ourselves as communities, we've got a role to play. For instance, your CPF, the Community Policing Forum, where were they to patrol and ensure that these shippings, these kids are not getting there, as well as these shippings are closed at 2 o'clock? Because in terms of the report, this happened around 4 a.m. in the morning the following day. So it tells you that there is no monitoring mechanism with us as community as well. But the last point, Michelle, here, and the viewers, what about our parents? What is our role that we are playing as parents to ensure that we look after kids? Because you can't have a 14-year-old outside your house, but you don't know where she or he is, and you keep quiet. So those are the issues we believe as Sanco we are faced with our communities.
And Dr. Basopu, you're talking about hopefully not hearing empty platitudes from the President today. We understand that he will be in mourning with the community there, and we expect him to mourn with them there today. But let's take concrete steps towards ensuring that nothing like this happens again. You're talking about things like the issuing of licenses, the role of police, the role of the community there. Real concrete steps that now need to be put in place around the country.
As I'm saying, Michelle and viewers there, us as communities, in particular ourselves, the civic bodies, we have got a role to play because these ship-ins are operated in our space, and therefore, time and again, we are the people that are affected. We are the people that can see what is right, what is wrong. Then we are saying that therefore we have got a role to play in making sure that these things are not happening in future. We have our own meetings. We patrol and check all these ship-ins that are there. Do they have licenses? If they don't, they must be closed. The second point, the vicinity, where these ship-ins are being operated, the majority of them are not in the designated place, but again, where the licenses were issued. So I'm saying that therefore, our role as communities is to ensure that these ship-ins are operating in a designated area with all requirements that are needed in terms of the licensing. We are the first people to take that on board. But of course, we can't do that alone without government. In this case, we start with the local municipality. The municipality has got a role to ensure that bylaws are being implemented, are being monitored, as well as the liquor board. So I'm saying all of us, we've got a role to play to ensure that these things are not happening by making sure that we monitor our communities, we monitor these ship-ins so that we don't experience this tomorrow and other days to come.
Dr. Mike Basopu, let me thank you for your time this morning, the chairperson of the Eastern Cape Division of the South African National Community Organization. One of the big stories we're tracking for you this morning certainly is the bidding farewell of those 21 teenagers who died in the Enyobeni tragedy. Lots more discussion about new ways of moving forward still to come, most certainly in the coming weeks.